Hey guys, so you may have noticed that the thumbnail for my last video on the banner leak has changed. I removed the characters from it. A lot of people were asking me to do this to not spoiler it, and I had my own stance on why I did it the way I did it. It was 7:30 a.m. Eastern time when I first put that up, and the leak had just, a good amount of credibility. I thought it was potentially real, but not any more than the box theory or the Sassy Gino image or anything like that. But as the day has gone on here, it has gained tons and tons of credibility, and I actually have just been contacted by an anonymous source that I trust. I don't want to divulge who they are, but I trust them a lot. And they've given me some more information about this banner leak that points to it being very real. And I'll talk about that information in a little bit, and I'm going to talk about my stance on why I did the thumbnail the way I did it a little bit more at the end, but I want to get to that information first. So someone contacted me, and again, I won't say who they are, and just said that they really liked my YouTube videos and they wanted to give me some information. Considering who they are, I very much so trust the information they're giving me. Basically, what they've said is that they have some sources of their own. Their sources had told them about Ken, Incineroar, and Isabelle long before the public was talking about those characters. So yes, Incineroar is still a part of all this. The person who's giving me information says they have a source from Microsoft, and that source was telling them that Banjo would be in the game. That source also knew about all the other characters on this banner leak. However, they couldn't confirm any of it. They could only confirm Banjo. Now that the banner leak is out, however, they believe all of this is true. Considering how much I trust this person who's giving me information, and if their source is saying, Banjo is definitely in the game and they're from Microsoft, and if also they knew about all these characters on the banner beforehand, I have to say this leak is almost certainly real. And, considering that, I took down the thumbnail and changed it. Before, I was pretty strong about not doing that because all my other videos had characters in them and it was all about, how credible a leak is. But now that this leak seems almost certainly real to me, I had to change that. They also believe that the leak that ruffled some feathers that Tansut was talking about was in fact the Chad Ganondorf leak. I came to that assumption as well after this banner leak came out, but yeah, they are confirming that that is probably what the leak was, most likely because that leak also talked about which characters were cut. It said Dixie Kong, Ray, and a Monster Hunter character were cut, so that would be very much so insider information if they knew what characters got to certain levels of development. The source from Microsoft also supposedly had heard about Incineroar. So they heard all these characters plus Incineroar. So they're trying to figure out what happened exactly with Incineroar, whether that's a DLC character or possibly even a leak bait character, a character that was put out to try to catch people who were leaking. So yeah, I don't know if that was the case or not, but there's something mysterious happening with Incineroar in all of this. One very interesting thing is Spawnwave was tweeting a lot today and said that he could debunk the leak. Someone asked him if the character was Incineroar. The reason that he thought this was fake was because he had heard Incineroar, and he had this really interesting tweet where he said Incineroar is one, but that's not the character that makes him think this is fake. So if the person that's talking to me, who I believe is very credible, has a source from Microsoft who knows about Banjo and knew about all these other characters plus Incineroar, and now Spawnwave is saying that, I assume the Incineroar is one means that Incineroar is one of the other characters he's heard about, but he might have some other character on top of that. So exactly how many characters are we going to get here? I was not thinking we were going to get very many at all, and the banner leak has 7. It also seems like Incineroar might be in the mix in some way, and Spawnwave also appears to have at least one more character beyond that he's heard. Are some of these characters possibly just out there as leak bait, trying to catch people leaking the roster? Spawnwave has had correct information in the past, so he does have sources. However, like I said, I don't know if Incineroar is leak bait to try to catch people. I don't know if Incineroar has been, held off for DLC, and I don't know if there's some other character that Spawnwave's heard about. Maybe that's a leak bait character, or maybe that character is someone being held off for a big reveal on their own. They'd have to be bigger than Banjo and Gino and people like that. So the only thing I can think of is something at the Video Game Awards. The character I'm thinking thinking it might be is like Sora. That seems like a big enough character. I could see Disney, wanting Sora to be singled out. So Sora is just me speculating on who else Spawnwave may have heard. I just feel like characters like Incineroar, who are mysteriously absent from this banner leak, if it is indeed real, which it appears it might very well be. If characters like Incineroar are absent, then they either have to be leak bait, saved for DLC, or if, again, Spawnwave's heard someone major, maybe they're being held off for the video game awards or to be like very early DLC, a major character. I feel like it has to be somebody really big if that's the case. So just to recap here, so this leak is clear. Someone came to me who I believe is very credible. I can't divulge who they are or why they are credible, but just trust me, they are very, very credible. They came to me and said they have their own source. Their source is a Microsoft source who knew about Banjo. They also knew about Ken, Incineroar, and Isabelle before that was public. They also knew about all 7 of these banner characters. However, they didn't have proof of it. They only had proof of Banjo. The Microsoft source had that. I don't know if they kept that to themselves or if they showed proof to my source, but I haven't seen proof of Banjo. They just had it, apparently. Those 7 characters, now that they've been shown on the banner, this Microsoft source now believes it's definitely true because they had heard those. The only strange thing is that they had also heard Incineroar. So is Incineroar leak bait? Is Incineroar held off for DLC? I really don't know. It's very mysterious. The one other strange thing going on here is that Spawnwave has mentioned Incineroar and also seemingly another character they know about that they think causes this banner leak to be fake, but I do not know what he's talking about. I don't know which character he's talking about. Neither does my source or their source, their Microsoft source. So I don't know if that's another leak bait character or if they really do know about someone really special. I just simply don't know. The one other thing, just to fully recap here, is that the leak that ruffled some feathers that Tansa was talking about, my source believes is the Chad Ganondorf leak because it specifically talked about which characters were cut and had all 7 of these characters on it. So that would, kind of point to having very insider information if they knew which characters got to certain points in development. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the insider leaked information I've been given. And now I just want to go back to the thumbnail and why I did it the way I did it. I just want to explain myself because I do take responsibility here and I don't want to be, someone who spoiled something for a lot of people. I always do my thumbnails with the characters in the thumbnail. I've been doing that for a long time now. So I just kind of thought this morning when I made this one that this was just another leak. It had a lot of credibility, but I really did just think it was another leak. And I mean, a week ago I thought Sassy Gino was real and it's not. So I thought, this one would come out and maybe something would, knock it down. But all I've heard is more and more that this one is probably real. And now that I'm getting contacted from sources that, seem to really confirm this one, I had to change that thumbnail. However, before, I stand by why I did it. I always put characters in the thumbnail, and I just figured as long as I don't put, the banner itself, an image, let's say an image came out, like a screenshot of the character in the game, or video footage or something very definitive, I thought as long as I kept that out of the thumbnail, that would be okay, because it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle of all my other thumbnails. It doesn't become an issue until you watch the video and see how credible the leak is. So, I mean, if you look at, say, for instance, my Greninja leak video I did, which almost seems certain to be false and fake. I put the characters in that thumbnail, but there's not a problem there. If that one turned out to be real, suddenly it's a problem. So I did it the way I did it simply because of, I wasn't sure at the time when I made it, but as of right now, I believe the banner leak is indeed real, so I changed the thumbnail. I just wanted to be clear about that, and I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone who, didn't like that, or I didn't mean to spoil or anything. I hope just seeing, the images of the characters that are in the banner leak, images, random images I got offline, isn't too big of an issue, but it is gone now because this leak looks extremely credible. So what do you guys think about all that? I'm sorry I can't divulge any more about my source specifically, but yeah, I mean, if they have a Microsoft source that was saying Banjo and seemed to have proof of Banjo, I have to say Banjo is almost certainly in. This source also had heard about all 7 of these banner fighters, so they're probably also in, and this is probably real. Beyond that, Incineroar, whether or not he's held off for DLC or was some sort of leak bait character, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's also on here too. And then Spawnwave. I'm really interested to see what Spawnwave has to say about all this further, because they seem to have some other character or something else to their knowledge that they think makes this one at least not fully true. I guess it's possible that it's Incineroar that they know about, but that tweet that they gave makes me think they know of someone else that makes this potentially not not a full leak at least. This is a lot of characters. I am shocked. I am amazed. If this is our final roster, this is an amazing final roster, and I'm really, really happy with it. But for now, I just want to know what you guys think about that leak and the banner leak and the further information I just gave, and where everything's going, because this is pretty amazing right here. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.